Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ball Girls. It's Haley and Jordan, and this week we are joined by the Athletics' Lyndsey Darkangelo. Thanks for joining us, Lyndsey.
Thanks for having me.
So we're just going to jump right into it. My first question is maybe a little controversial, but so the WNBA came out with their 12 Days of W campaign, where each day they're going to have somebody else, showcasing on, I guess, their socials, the WNBA. And a lot of people weren't really on board with it because there was outlets like Teen Vogue and things like that who, despite, they have 3 million followers, they're not people who are spending their entire lives writing or covering the WNBA. What are your personal thoughts on when that news came out?
Yeah, there's a couple of different parts to it. Number one, I'm not mad at it at all. It's obviously a marketing campaign more than anything else.
Right.
And the more eyeballs you can get on the league, the better. So I totally get it from that standpoint. And I believe it's going to be mostly Instagram, taking over Instagram stories and whatnot.
Right.
And again, I'm all for that. I think what you have to understand about the WNBA circle of coverage before, mainstream media sort of caught on that the league is actually deserving of coverage. They've worked really hard for years to bring attention to the league. And I'm talking, bloggers and independent writers, freelancers, etc. So they're very, and I count myself in that for a while before I started doing the athletic work. So they're very, they want that respect, and they deservedly so. And so I think it was seen as a slight when you have people like Teen Vogue, and there were a couple other random outlets in there. I don't remember all of them right at this point in time, but we're a little like, okay. But so I understood where people were coming from that criticized it. So like I said, I get both sides of it. I do think it's a good thing from a coverage standpoint. I think it's primarily marketing. And then I understand why people criticized it at the same time. But you're still going to have the same people grinding and putting out the type of coverage that you've grown accustomed to getting on a regular basis. So that's my take.
Of course. Yeah. No, I agree. It was kind of the same thing. Like, obviously you want the writers that you follow to succeed and people that dedicate their whole lives to it. But in the same breath, the WNBA, like you said, you want eyes on it. And when somebody with 3 million followers is going to post that on your story and give exposure to the league, how can you be mad at that?
Exactly. Like, how could you not want that?
So my question now, kind of building off that, creating coverage or something, I didn't really know much about it until I looked more into you, the National Women's Football League. What inspired you to write a book about that in the 1970s? Not you writing the book in the 1970s, but yeah.
So I'm writing the book with a co-writer. I'm not sure if you guys follow her, but if you don't, you should. Her name is Brittany De La Creta. She does a lot of stuff across the social aspects of sports, and she's great. But we collaborated. We were collaborating on an idea about women's football, just women in football in general, because she was doing research for an article and couldn't find a single book on women in football or that was written by a woman who had played football or anything. Like nothing. Nothing exists. So she started doing research, and she asked me, because I'm pretty well versed in football, if I knew of any book, and I said I didn't. I had never come across one. So I jokingly said we should write that book. So that's how it all started, and we started researching, different ways to do it, different ideas of how we can incorporate, the history of football and how women played a part, because people don't understand that women have been playing football, trying to play football since the sport was invented. And we just did a lot of research on that, but it was too broad of an idea to cover in one book. And then she was writing an article and stumbled across the National Women's Football League from the 1970s. It's basically a decade from like 1970 to 1980 is when it really was prominent and happening. So she was basically like, this is the book. This is the book we have to write. And I was totally on board with it. And we tracked down a gazillion players and who are all in their 60s and 70s now who participate in this league, and just hearing their stories. And there's an energy to this book, right? Because nobody knows that this league existed or that the woman played. Billie Jean King was fighting for equal pay in women's tennis at this time period. Title IX had just passed. I mean, so many huge things happened, and then this league just has gone underreported for so long. So that's been our motivation. Like, we want to share these women's stories. We want to share everything they went through, their motivation for playing, the lack of media attention, how they played for nothing, just for the love of the game. It's pretty incredible, and I'm excited that we're going to be able to put it out in the world.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. So yeah.
That was a long answer to your question.
No, it's great.
No, we love it. So like you said, you want to get women's stories out there, but also you're pretty well-versed in football. You cover both the WNBA and the WNHL, but also you're an NFL writer. Do you ever find that there's tension with female creators in a space like football, like NFL football?
Yeah, I mean, so I write for the Athletic Buffalo too, so I do stories on the Bills and the Sabres from time to time. So we have our regular guys who cover like the inside and outs of the locker room and stuff. I've always been this way, so it doesn't bother me, but I write kind of the off-field stories when it comes to the Bills and the Sabres, just like intriguing features on the players themselves and their backstories or things they've gone through in their lives, just really good quality feature type stuff. And I'm okay with that because I'm not an X's and O's type of girl. I understand it, but I don't have the breadth of experience that someone like Tim Graham, who is our main Bills writer on the site, has, he's been doing it for like 20 some years. So, I mean, I would love an opportunity to maybe get into that, but the way it's set up right now, I don't mind it. And in my experience, they've been completely supportive and welcoming and accepting. I don't know if I believe it's who they are, but also, I'm a tomboy, and I feel like I fit into that space a little bit easier because of that, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So, I've had a good experience, in that realm.
Wonderful. That's always good to hear because, you hear horror stories of women who are just shunned from locker rooms and things like that. And it's like, oh, I want to be a journalist, but here's X, Y, and Z stories about how you're never going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not to say that I don't know people that has happened to, and that doesn't happen. It does. I have a different experience, in that regard.
For sure.
So I'm going to ask a question. Hopefully it makes sense. But so if you look at the relationship with the NBA and the WNBA, how do you think that the NWHL and the NHL could create a closer relationship similar? And following that, would you say that that's been like a reason why, for instance, the CWHL folded last year because of that relationship with the NHL?
I mean, there are so many things that go into this, and a lot of people do believe that one of the reasons is the CWHL folded was because the top echelon of players were going to form this separate organization to, I don't like to use the term boycott, but sort of, do what they need, stand for what they need to stand for, and try to create, a thriving league, even though the NWHL, still exists. It's really what it is two separate approaches of trying to get to the same goal.
Yeah.
The NWHL wants to just grow as a league and figure it out. And the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, they believe that they need to partner, like you said, maybe with a bigger investor, somebody where they can make money and do it along the lines of, I'd say, the WNBA NBA model. So it's hard to know, because I do believe the WNBA and WNBA model is a good one. It took a long time to get to this point, but I believe we're at a point in time where maybe it would be easier. But I don't know that the NHL is all in on this. They've never really said they were. There's really no expectation that if the NWHL were to fold, that's the course of action this would all take. But right now you have a league. You have a league that is I believe gaining in popularity. You see players signing almost every day that we're sitting out, or and deciding to come back, or were in the league previously and are deciding to play again. So I don't know. We got to see how it pans out. And this is an interesting year too, because what's the season going to look like? If this COVID mess is still going on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things up in the air right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of touching on that COVID mess. So we've seen a lot of the ins and outs of bubble life right now, and kind of, you've got the WNBA is at IMG Academy, and then you've got the NBA at Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the whole situation with bubble life, where you're seeing tweets come out about, women being invited and things like that? Do you think that this bubble is a good idea?
I've never thought it was a good idea from the start. I haven't shied away from that and saying that I didn't think this was just restarting both leagues. I just didn't think it was a good idea. I don't know how you can keep people in a bubble when you have people in the bubble still testing positive for COVID. And I understand they're taking all the precautions necessary and they're doing what they need to do. I don't know that it's worth it, I guess. And I mean, I love basketball. I miss basketball so much. I miss the WNBA. I miss covering it. We would be knee deep into the middle of the season right now. So I miss that, but at what cost? But, the players who are there, and I've spoken to a couple, seem, more than willing to risk it, the ones who decided to go, and then just to get the chance to play. And on the flip side, it's giving players who either weren't on a WNBA team or didn't get drafted or were drafted and didn't make the team, now it's giving them an opportunity to play because some players are opting out. So I don't know, it's one of those things where you got to take it day by day and see how it pans out. But I definitely was not a supporter of this happening this way.
Right. And with that being said, since obviously it's all happening and players were, given the chance to opt out and a lot of them didn't, with the dates being set for the start of the season, who are you most excited to see play, out of the rookie class that came out?
Oh, definitely Sabrina. I think a lot of people are, just to see her make that transition the way people expect her to make the transition. And I'm talking seamlessly, just slide right in like it's nothing. And also because everybody's college senior year was cut short, but really her mission and the mission that she was on with that team, it was a real shame that they didn't get to see it come to fruition. So, I'm looking forward to seeing all the rookies play, but definitely Sabrina. In that first game of the tip-off on the 25th, the Liberty play the Storm. So she's going to go right up against Sue Bird, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting matchup. I'm super excited to watch that as well. I love Kia Nurse. I love Brianna Stewart. They're people I've looked up to. So it's a great match to watch. But as you're kind of saying with the senior year season, obviously you can't predict what was going to happen when everything got cut short. But do you think that Oregon would have won the title if they did? Or you saw South Carolina on the come up kind of thing.
They were trending in that direction. But again, you don't know until they play the games, you don't know what's going to happen. South Carolina, they were playing fabulous as well. And that could have easily been, had those teams come together, it would have been a great matchup. But you don't know. But I do like the energy that Oregon had.
Yeah, no, it was really a shame that we never got to see Sabrina win a title.
Yeah. It's an issue for her too, I'm sure.
Of course. But no, I think that she there has been names, over the years that should have brought attention to women's basketball. But, when she hit that, was it 2000, 1000, 1000 or 2000, 2000, 1000 when it was points, rebounds?
Oh, it's the 2000, 1000, 1000 club.
Yeah. When she hit that club, she kind of was I'm here whether I'm a girl or not, You can't factor facts.
Yeah. And just, she's in my top 5 as one of the greatest college women's basketball players of all time, hands down.
Yeah, no, I agree with
that. Her output in college was more than Diana Taurasi's. That gives you
Yeah.
And Diana Taurasi is considered like the GOAT. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much everything we have for you today. Is there anything else you wanted to ask us or anything like that?
I see you're a Celtics fan.
I am. And do you know what's funny about it? My dad's a Lakers fan. I don't know
Oh,
how.
really? I too am a Celtics fan, so.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, no, I don't know why I chose them because I played basketball from the time I was like 8 till I was 18. And I just, for some reason, like kind of when the big three got signed, like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, like that era was when I got into it. I literally have an authentic Kyrie jersey in my closet right now, which I shamefully hide away. But yeah, they're my team, even though my dad, Magic Johnson, loved him, so he's a huge Lakers fan. But, you know, it's been the ups and downs. I'm hoping for good things this season. I love Jason Tatum. I love Jaylen Brown. I love Kemba Walker. So
yeah, they got a good base. They definitely have a good base. So we'll see.
It'll be interesting. Let's hope they beat the Raptors, the longest reigning NBA champions.
Yeah, that's true. If you guys ever want to chat again about WNBA stuff, I'm all for it.
Awesome.
For anything, really.
Thank you so much, Lyndsey. You're such a pleasure to have on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Lyndsey, for joining us. You can catch Lyndsey on Twitter at DarkAngel21. It's dark with a C. But we'll link it when we post the episode. But yeah, now we're going to get back into the swing of things. I'm just going to start by saying that I'm wearing this hat and I will keep wearing this hat weekly. My Arizona, I was going to say Cardinals. Yeah, no, my Arizona Coyotes hat.
Rent free.
Because I guess some account came out, I don't know who the account is that posted it, but this graphic came out of this map of the most popular teams in each state. And honestly, I'm going to keep believing that the Coyotes are the more popular team in Arizona. It's definitely not the Diamondbacks. The Suns maybe, but it's definitely not the Cardinals. And I will go to my grave saying that. Mm-hmm. I will go to my grave. Like I'm going to be making a list of things more popular than the Cardinals. Don't hate the Cardinals. Just no one is a fan of, like, not saying that no one's a fan, but they're not the most popular team.
No, and they only gained like recent respect because of Kyler Murray. Like that's literally it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be making a list. And number one, I will be saying Camelback Mountain in Arizona and rain in Arizona is more popular than the Cardinals. So yeah.
Period, poo.
Poo, what I do. A little girl.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Anyways.
What we're going to swing into, haha, funny joke, baseball. Because now that baseball's back, we've got some tea.
Yeah, we got some tea. We have Travis Shaw really loving Kid Rock. He didn't think that he was going to be doing this all summer long.
All summer long. Yeah, basically what happened was he didn't realize that he was going to have to live in the Rogers Center all summer. And I guess thought that it was only going to be for 2 weeks, like a quarantine with the whole team, and then just go out to the public world with all the people who have COVID. I don't know what the reasoning was there. He basically then retracted it, apologized, said like, obviously we weren't going to break the rules. Like, I know they're putting in the safety measures for COVID, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, I don't know in what world when the NBA and WNBA are living in bubbles that you could just like roam Toronto freely.
Like, and also at the same time, you're going to be having 12 teams come for the NHL Eastern Conference. You think they're just going to overlap?
Yeah, like everyone will see you at Petty Cash, like have a good night. Like
Shawn Mendes is also gonna pull up.
Toy Box is right across the street, bar hop. Like I don't understand the logic behind like thinking you would only have to be there for 2 weeks. Like they would just make you quarantine at home at that point, to be honest.
Like I don't really get it. And then Gritchick was saying, like something about like we're not asking for special treatment, but the toughest part is about like not seeing our families. Same with everyone else.
How do you think ICU nurses feel, Randall?
Like,
Randall's got a mouth on him, though, does he not?
Yeah, and he hits Haley.
First of all, there's a ball from the dead. It's not the ball, but he did hit me
on top of it.
What?
Is there a Kleenex on top of it?
No, that's a scrunchie. Yeah. It's a scrunchie, not a used tissue, I promise. But yeah, no, he whacked me with a home run, and then I tweeted him about it, and he said, "Hope you got the ball," and I didn't.
Say it was intentional.
Yeah, he said, Screw you.
I don't hate Kutchuk. I'm just making fun right now.
Yeah, no, that was a wild time, and honestly was like, it's memorable. What can I say? Except everyone's like, how did that happen? I'm like, I never played baseball growing up. Okay, I can't, like, I don't know what's going on.
It is yeah. More with Grichuk. Him, Strowman, and Huff were having they were just tapping each other in to go against Strowman on Twitter.com.
Yeah, truly.
So Strowman and Huff have been going back and forth about a few weeks now. Like, Strowman's calling him a Karen and racist, and then Huff's very Trump and blah, 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 blah. All that mess. But then Huff's tweeted something about, basically saying how Strowman kicked out 30 minor leaguers from the weight room so he can train by himself with the strength coach. And Grichuk liked it. And then Strowman came at Grichuk because someone pointed out, look who liked the tweet. And then Grichuk's like, it's not, what did he say? It was kind of funny. He said, like, it's, I didn't like it because of something that you said about me last year. I didn't, like, I have nothing personal, but it's true. I liked it because it's true, kind of thing. Like,
yeah, he's personal. Like, Strowman like tweets about me, but that's not why. It's because it's true. But it's like, if you didn't hate him, wouldn't you be defending him?
Yeah, and then Strowman then says, Canada would rather have me playing for them. I don't care who is playing as long as we're winning, honestly. Like, and then Grichuk says, like, keep thinking that, buddy, kind of thing. Haha, whatever. Like, enjoy your day. Strowman's just, what was it? Okay, I put it here. It was so funny. Day is beyond great. It's good luck playing for a nation that knows your true colors. Like, again, we don't care really. Like, true colors is he liked to tweet about you. I'm not really picking sides with this. I don't really care about this whole whatever, but Strowman has a giant ego, and we all know it. We all know it.
They're both in the wrong, truly. Like, why are you airing out your dirty laundry over Twitter?
Yeah. Like, COVID's really hitting hard here.
Truly.
Like I said, we just want success, so.
Literally, after the last few seasons, they're like, well, please just let us make playoffs.
It might sound so bad, but 2015, 2016 were such, like, tea bags, like, on Jays fans.
Yeah. And then 2017, they're like, just kidding. It's been downhill since. But speaking of tea, we've got some bubble tea. So
bubble tea. I'm just kidding. I really don't like bubble tea.
I've never had bubble tea, but
it's those little, like, nothing, like, if you like it, go for it. Like, Sabrina likes it, my best friend, but, like,
we're not bubble tea shaming, but neither of us are gonna drink it. But
we are kink shaming it.
This Twitter account named Ugly Anna, ugly_Anna.
Yes.
Tweeted that she got an invite to the bubble already.
Yeah. And hell blew up, honestly. Like,
yeah. Well, the funniest thing for me was that somebody I can't remember the account that quote tweeted it, but they were like, at Spida Mitchell, so Donovan Mitchell, you wildin'. And she was like, no, I wish it was him. I was like, that's so disrespectful to whoever actually invited you.
But then people are now questioning, did she even get invited? So
or is she trying to...
Pardon?
Is she just trying to stir the pot? Like,
that's the thing. Is she just doing it to stir the pot? Like, who knows? Like, I'm going to take her word for it. But if people are doing it, because some people are investigating on this, they're not actually investigating, but, you know, like how we investigate. So saying they went through her following, and she only follows one player, but oh god, who is he with? I forget what team he's on. He didn't qualify, so he's not on the bubble, so I totally forget who it was. Oh boy. But
I can't remember either. I know what you're talking about, though. I have a pea brain. I worked 8 to 5 today.
So yeah, they're saying she got invited to the bubble, and she lives in LA.
I think so.
I believe she lives in LA, City of Angels. It says in her thing. So she lives in LA, and then Bubble's in Orlando, city of a Florida man's, and
city of Mickey.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. And also, like, a lot of these players, like, people have opted out and stuff to not risk it for their families. Like, I wouldn't put it past somebody, but also I don't see them doing it, like, literally a week into doing this. But also, the amount of shame she was getting, as if, even if she did get invited, somebody DM'd her. Like, What is she gonna just pull up to Disney World and be like, "Let me in"? Like, obviously somebody would have had
Mickey ears,
right? Like, it's just the slut shaming that was going on was.
She didn't just like the thing is with it. She's saying that she got invited to the bubble. Someone initiated it. It was a player. If it happened, so
exactly. Like, she didn't invite herself to the bubble. I just.
And then well, I was going to talk about this later in the show. We can touch on it later too. But I tweeted out after I seen her, the whole thing with her. I think I mentioned it last episode, and then I tweeted it. I was just like, okay, but you're not going to tell me that like crazy fans are going to try to get into these bubbles to get autographed, meet players, yada yada yada, because like they're leaking where they are, so it's pretty easy to find them. And people were coming at me. Yeah, the thoughts are going. The groupies are going. I'm like, dude, I'm talking about the 40-year-old man with the beer belly holding the book of trading cards. That's who I meant. And it was actually, people were going like, not going nuts, but people were putting down women pretty hard in the comments. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, I know. Like I said, my father chased Ty Domi around a restaurant to get a photo with him. Like, it's not just women. I know people would love to just blame all of their problems on women. Like, I get that that's a thing to do, but truly, you're correct. It's literally going to be 50-year-old men who have had no excitement in their lives because they've been quarantined for 4 months. And not only just the Toronto Maple Leafs, but like every team is going to be, well, not every team, but half the teams they love are going to be in Toronto at 2 hotels. You know where to be if you want to find the action. Like, it's a kind of scary idea.
Yeah, and for, like with the NHL, for instance, they said the hotels that each team is staying at. Like, if you want to go see Ovechkin, you're going to Hotel X.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
if you want to go see Werenski, you're going to go to the Royal York.
Yeah, I don't get why they would say where they're staying. Like, literally One Direction was more secretive about their hotels than like all of these people.
I know, I went. I was 14.
But for real, I mean, we were going to talk about this later, but we're here now. But yeah, so the Toronto NHL hub city is basically 2 hotels. So if you want to go, like George said, if you want, or a crazed fan who wants to go, you know where they're going to be staying.
And like the Royal York is part of the path. You don't think people are just going to do up the path and try to get in?
Yeah, exactly. Even
or go to Benihana or whatever.
Yeah, like
Benihana.
Doesn't Hotel X have like a rooftop bar too that like might be open since patios are open? Like,
yeah.
Gonna go get a drink and then like go into the hotel and find them.
It's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
And one funny comment, I meant to say it. Someone said that there was an app that groupies use as if they're tech developers and they made an app to track who players are. He's like, they're ready for this. Like, they're on the prowl. Like, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, you're telling me they're going from their job away from Sephora or wherever. I'm not going to discredit where they work, but they're tech developers now?
Literally. Like, first of all, where was this when I was a One Direction fan? Because would have been useful. But like, truly, I don't. And yes, there are crazy women fans. I'm not saying there aren't, but there's also crazy men fans. Like, that's crazy. Like, taking time out of your day to develop an app to find. Do they have trackers? Like, I don't. How is this information being relayed? I don't get it. You get into Hotel go into Hotel X, you get chipped. Like, I don't.
You just sign up like one of those releases.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's gonna be a mess. We'll see how that plays out because obviously there's not practice facilities in these hotels, so they can't really live that bubble life. So how are they being transported? And
actually, that's a great question. Like, for instance, like Hotel X is not near the Scotiabank Arena. You'd have to walk down Lakeshore, up Bremner, Fort York area.
Yeah. Are they using Coca-Cola as like practice space? Or?
I believe so. Well, the Leafs one is at MasterCard. So I don't know if they're going to do different rinks at MasterCard. I think there's like 5 pads there. Great facility.
Okay. Love it there.
Great, big fan. But yeah. I feel like they would have to maybe use Ryerson, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Or like
Gardens.
Yeah, or it's kind of far, but there's Scotiabank Pond that's like
in where Yorkdale is. Yeah, like I'm blanking on where that is right now. I know where it is, but
Yeah, it's north, but
Suffering.
we'll see how that works out. But they're not living the bubble life, whereas like the NBA literally like you've got practice facilities in the ballrooms of your hotel, like the courts are like in your little contained area. These people are just roaming the city of Toronto, like going to the rink.
Well, like you said with the tracker thing, well, Serge Ibaka, he showed a video today with the or not today, like, I don't know when it was, but with the creepiest music. You see, it looks like a Reading band that they have to wear to help practice social distancing.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after this. But yeah, it's like this little. It looks like a wedding band. It's like a gray thing, and there's like all these little buttons on it in it.
Oh, I did see those. Okay, I did see those, but I didn't know they
Like,
played music.
why do you have to get rings to practice social distancing? Just
do it. You're all adults.
yeah, like the money could be like your leagues are saying they're going to lose money, but then you're buying social distance rings. Like, do you want one? I'll get you one. Best friend forever social distance rings.
Me and Serge BFFs. Like,
I think we might have them at Claire's, so.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but one last COVID topic, because apparently that's what today's episode is about. So MLS is back, which was a huge thing because they were the first league back, even though the NWSL was, so screw yourselves. But so the MLS was 10 games were supposed to be played by now. I think only 5 or 6 actually got played. The Hell is Real Derby was played, which is FC Cincinnati versus Columbus Crew. Columbus kicked the shit out of them. We love to see it. But Toronto FC was supposed to play DC United, and
Friday, right?
Yes, on Friday. And TFC didn't even show up to the stadium. DC United showed up, even though they had a player test positive. And then TFC had a player test, like, inconclusive, which basically they didn't test negative, but, like, they didn't really know what was going on there. But it's just, like, it kind of shows the flaws with these leagues coming back because, soccer's a sport where you can't really social distance. You're trying to get the ball from the other person. And, like, you've seen in the NWSL, like, somebody scores, you go hug your teammate. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be like, okay, air 5. No. Like, it's exciting. That's your job. So it'll be interesting to see. There's not really much to say about it. It's just like, they're not even 10 games in, and you've already got players from both teams testing positive. Meanwhile, like, Premier League, Bundesliga, they've all come back, like, minimal issues. They've had, like, maybe 2 players test positive out of, like, the 2,500 tests they've done.
So with the MLS, they're down in Florida too, right?
I believe so, yes. I'll have to look it up now.
And then didn't they open Disney World?
Oh my God, that's a whole other thing. Like,
I don't understand any of that. And, like, I thought about it. I'm like, because I was hearing about the park going to be reopening, and I'm like, is there not bubbles going on there?
Yeah, so MLS is playing at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex.
Okay.
So they're also there. So you've got not only 2 leagues there with players testing positive for COVID in both leagues, but now you're going to let people into Disney World. And, like, my coworker showed me a photo of, like, the car lineup to get into Disney World. It was absolutely insane. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm an adult now, so Disney's not, like, as intriguing as it was when I was 6, and my mom took my sister and I as a present for, like, putting us with the trauma of my parents' divorce. But it's true. She took us for Halloween. It was great. But, like, I'm sorry, your child can wait. Whether you take your child when they're 4 or when they're 6, Disney World is not that important. You're not missing out on anything. You're putting lives at risk. And, like Lyndsey said, sports aren't that important to come back either. But they kind of announced that plan to go to Disney and do that before Disney was like, you know what, we're opening back up.
Like Lyndsey said, at what cost?
At what cost?
In this economy?
In this economy.
Who has the money to go to Disney in this economy right now?
Right? Like, I think it was something like 5.6 million U.S. citizens are, like, out of healthcare and, like, have lost jobs and stuff like that. And it's like your first priority is to go to Disney when it opens.
Dude, I went when I was 2. Do I remember shit? No.
Like, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure there's people who literally are bringing their, like, 6-month-olds. For what? For what? You did this for what?
Like, if you want the food, you can just make it. It's on TikTok. I made the grilled cheese. Was great.
Yeah, like, it's not that hard. Go buy a Mickey Mouse waffle press. Same thing. Like,
it should do that. You should do, like, a lemonade stand, but it's Disney food. No one steal this idea.
This is our intellectual property. Don't pull a Call Her Daddy on us.
Ours, okay?
But no, it's interesting to see. The women were smart. The women are all the way at NWSL. They're in Utah, you know? Yeah, the women.
The Mormons.
The WNBA is in Florida, but they're at IMG Academy. They're not dealing with Disney like the men are. So y'all made your bed, you lay in it. One last thing from the bubble, and then we'll stop talking.
Gyllenhaal is shaking right now. Bubble boy.
Bubble boy. The funniest thing happened. So Kelly Oubre, who plays for the Suns, who's like the love of my life, tweeted like, y'all, if you want delivery food, just Postmates it. Like, Postmates can come to the bubble. Like, we're good. And then this player, I think his name is Rashawn. I think it's Rashawn Holmes. He tweeted that he crossed campus line to go get delivery food and then had to quarantine for 10 days because he went and got delivery food. He's got 8 days left now. He like put out a whole statement. He plays for Sacramento. And then Kelly Oubre tweeted, never mind, LOL. Me. When I stir up the pot and then watch it all go down. Whoop, never mind, LOL.
That was me posting that graphic today and having to delete it.
Being like, guys, I did not make this.
Like, all I seen was Arizona, and I was like, that's so great. Like, there's so much growth in Arizona after, I guess, Strome going 3rd overall, Matthews, Max Domi being there, Kessel.
Yeah.
But no.
Just got attacked.
No. I didn't make it.
She did not. That's not her graphic design is my passion.
Anyhow.
That's all for this week. As always, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Scram. Myself.